Night StarCraft Edition, featuring some of the top players from around the world, with 25,000 in prize money on the line. Who will go home the StarCraft champion? This is Fight Night.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Fight Night here at ESGN TV. It's time for another round of StarCraft 2 action for the King of the Hill style.
StarCraft 2 is a one-on-one real-time strategy game made by Blizzard Entertainment. Players choose one of 3 races, Terran, Zerg, or Protoss, then develop their civilization and fight against opposing armies. In a game of StarCraft 2, there are a few key things to consider: the resource count of minerals and gas, the power of the army and population, often referred to as supply count, and the overall map control. Players that have significant advantages in all 3 areas are usually in a prime position to win. So the key to StarCraft 2 is to know when to develop your own strategy and when to concentrate on your opponent's plan. A player wins when he has eliminated all the buildings of his opponent. StarCraft 2 players need a combination of immense physical speed, mental fortitude, and devious strategies in order to come out on top and crush their opponent.
Alright, so we brought back the same 8 players. Good to see you guys again. And you guys know the drill. We're going to spin the wheel to determine who our first player is. It's Socke.
Socke's got some very, very strong battle micro, but sometimes when it comes to the decisions in the early game to transition onto that mid game, it can be difficult. And that's where the weakness of Socke lies, that was exploited oh so heavily in some of these recent tournaments.
All right, Socke, you have first dibs. Let's find out who you're going to play first. Oh, player number 4. Let's find out who player number 4 is.
MaNa.
It's MaNa.
Then we have MaNa, of course, a player who, for the longest time, I would have considered him actually top 5 in Wings of Liberty in terms of foreigners. Obviously, you had Stefano in there, Naniwa, Scarlet rose to prominence at the very end. Chou was a big, big rival for him. And then 5th, I would probably consider MaNa to have been there. He took some major titles.
MaNa, I've played most of the tournaments. He beat me in many major tournaments at important points. Still good, solid PvP. Like me, hasn't had the best HOTS year so far, but yeah, he's good.
I lost to him at Home Story Cup twice, but I had very bad conditions. I felt very bad then. I fixed a little bit of my PvP, so I think I should be able to win versus Socke.
Hello everyone, we are back, Artosis and Kaelaris here for yet another fight night at ESGN TV. In the first season, these guys both ended up losing, MaNa and Socke, 2 of the top and oldest school Protosses in Europe. So this should be a very nice PvP, I think.
Yeah, certainly so. We've already seen quite a lot of Socke's PvP as in terms of what he does across the spectrum here in Germany. He plays against a lot of Protoss, and I mean a lot. This scene is heavily dominated by the Protosses when you've got people like Socke, Hasu, Obs, and the recent kind of newcomer Showtime to the scene.
Well, that's hopefully he is in good shape for PvP because MaNa has always been a force to be reckoned with, and it looks like we're just about ready to go.
All right, well, game number 1 now on the way between Socke and MaNa as we get into our brand new system, brand new series, a brand new day. here at ESGN TV. Sounds good. All right, get into game number 1. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our blue Protoss. Representing alternate attacks here from Germany, he is Socke. And down to the bottom right as our red Protoss. Representing mouse sports, it's MaNa.
All right. So let's talk about kind of the styles and our expectations of this match. Because, you know, at the beginning of PvP, if you don't see a probe leave the base right away, it's pretty darn standard. So who, Kaelaris, do you think takes this and why?
That's a very good question. I'm actually going to take the easy road and say, I actually don't know. Because I don't know right now how strong...
Okay, Kaelaris, you are being a coward like all the players were in Season 1. Who is going to win this one?
All right, God, okay. I'm going to go with Socke 2-1.
Socke 2-1?
Dude, when you are able to see how well he controls mid-game engagements, the way he played the recent or the past EPS season out against Showtime, he was able to get some amazing surrounds, use Warp Prisms to warp in Zealots right behind his opponent's line, and then get amazing engagement. Socke is a master when it comes to orchestrating those.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with you on this one.
Hey.
Normally I like to disagree with you, Kaelaris. I don't know why. I'm a mean guy, but Socke, this is a guy that actually I used to practice with as far back as 2004, and he's always been just a top-end pro. I really respect his play, and as you said, you know, playing in that EPS, his PvP always has to be top-notch, whereas MaNa, he's obviously got very good PvP, but in his home country, when he has to battle, it's mostly against Zerg. So, well, we all know that story. One for another time, but I'm gonna go ahead with Socke 2-1 as well.
He's a pretty good Protoss player in this matchup, and now we get down to the nitty-gritty of things, as we do have the Cybernetics score started a little bit quicker here for Socke. Now, Socke is the kind of Protoss player in PvP that does want to get forward to that mid-game. He feels that his decisions there and then are absolutely fantastic in comparison to anyone he's going to face, but at the same time, there is an opportunity for him to get very aggressive if he wants to like start chrono boosting a Cybernetics core, but this probe would end up seeing that for just a little bit.
You know, I know that you cast a lot of EPS. You get to see a lot of Socke, you know, working over with ESL and just being all over the place casting in Europe. What type of style does Socke like in this matchup?
We've seen a lot of Twilight Council. A lot of Twilight Council openers from him. Obviously, there's always the room to mix things up because, I mean, you just have to. You have to keep it fresh. You have to keep it cool. But Twilight Council really did seem like his bread and butter. Be it Blink or Dark Templars, he can go for either one quite considerably. Yeah,
I like both those quite a bit. On the other hand, MaNa, what do you know about this guy's PvP?
Well, they like Stargate. Oh, well. Never mind.
I guess you nailed that one, Kaelaris. We have Socke going for Twilight, MaNa going for Stargate.
Ta-da!
And here we are. So this is, to me, what PvP is right now, the battle of these two tech groups going against each other. This is the most normal thing to see. And I'm excited to see how they both deal with it. It looks like a sentry coming out of Socke here, and this... I'm kind of feeling Dark Shrine. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm feeling it as well. I mean, this is something that he has done in the past quite strongly. Second Gateway, no, that probe, he's up for the Dark Shrine. Hey, and
there it is.
As I said before, he does like these options, throwing down the two gateways extra.
And that's just very solid. He's going to be able to produce plenty of units and get those DTs out rather quickly. In the meantime, of course, MaNa opens up with an Oracle. The only time that you're not going to open an Oracle in PvP is when you really think your opponent's going Stargate as well.
Oh yeah, definitely so.
Or if you proxy the Stargate and you have all the chrono boosts left on your Nexus, as Artosis finds out regularly on the Korean ladder.
Well, yeah, that certainly can come to fruition as well. But look at this. Both players already adding on a Robo. I'm not surprised in the slightest that Socke added on the Robo, because this is something that it's a safe Dark Shrine player, right? If your opponent's going Dark Shrine as well, you need to have that in place. But MaNa, on the other hand, hasn't really seen the Dark Shrine just yet, right? Or the Twilight Council.
No, he hasn't seen it, but you know what? It's a solid follow-up to a Stargate.
Yeah.
If you don't want to just completely rely on Stargate units, you get that out, and you're going to have the Observer, you're going to have Immortals to stop Blink as well. And
it's a great choice.
You're always going to want that Robo eventually anyways.
Yeah, well, that Blink is now being researched as well here for Socke, so he's not putting all of his eggs in one basket, and as that Oracle will fly in, most importantly, does not get to the back of that mineral line, as there is one Dark Templar already warping in, and the Oracle did not see the Dark Shrine. So still a little bit of opportunity, but look how well MaNa is already positioned to greet it if it were a case.
Well, he is ready indeed. The Nexus going down right now for Socke. And we'll see if MaNa can actually do anything. Oh, wait, mistake there.
Just waiting for that observer to get right in position. Where is the observer? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's there. Yep. He does get the sentry, so it's not as bad as it could have been if you get nothing with that, or like only, I don't know, damage a stalker. Yep. It's pretty bad, but you know, he's got a couple tech roots, and that's good at least.
Certainly so. He adds on the Void Ray as well. Second DT is going to try and sneak on in, and a nice force field from an added on sentry after losing that first one. Good place by MaNa so far in the defense.
That's right. In fact, in the units lost tab, we do see that Socke is quite a bit behind right now, but at least his Nexus is going all right. He's got a similar probe count, and those are both very important things.
And now we see the transition onto the later stages of this game, past where you get from that one base versus one base scenario. And again, this is where I really feel that Socke can hit his stride, but his Dark Templars haven't done as much as I've previously seen him do with them. So he's going to look with this Blink play to try and find a way in, try and sneak some extra damage. That's a lot of Stalkers he actually has. Blinks forwards, tries to do some damage. Has to back up for a second.
Well, looks like we're going to have a Nexus Cannon going down, and Socke just going to finish off that pylon and back out of here for now. I don't think he's going to get much more damage done. You know, when you have Void Rays and Immortals making, Blink Stalkers are not going to go very far.
At this point, what I'm looking from Socke is maybe not now, maybe in 2 or 3 minutes' time is the attempt to blink 4 Stalkers in from around into the main base and try that. But at the same time, pressure in forward, Photon Overcharge is still activated, so he can't really do too much, especially with the presence of Void Rays.
I do really like, though, that he's trying to get something done, because I feel like if you just go in the first time and you're like, oh, okay, I can't do anything, and you have this many Stalkers, I feel like that's a net loss. So he may as well push in, see how much he can pick off, and see if he can get anything else done.
Well, adding on the Immortals as well, as you pointed out previously. And I mean, that's a really strong composition. I won't be surprised again if we see Socke eventually add on charge after seeing exactly what's there. But he blinks forward really aggressively. A few of those get trapped. Great force fields by MaNa.
That was a little bit bad, I have to say, from Socke. A little bit of a mistake here, losing a lot of those Stalkers. He was just a bit too aggressive against that many Immortals and Void Rays. He was never going to win.
That resources lost tab is a big, big sting there for Socke. And MaNa did try to get in with the Zealot, killed off 1 probe at least during all of that. But the thing is now is that we see Socke stuck on basic gateway units against an Immortal Void Ray composition that is, he's adding on a second, that's the second robo here.
That is the second robo, and wait a minute, he doesn't have Colossus tech, right? I think no, he did.
You think it's like on autopilot?
Yeah, he might be on autopilot just adding another one, but he could have canceled. I know he started it earlier though.
Yeah, well, looks like he's going to try and get a snipe out there. Does get one and blinks away. Has to be careful, though. Those Immortals are looking to pile on the pressure through the middle of the map. MaNa senses weakness. And because Socke didn't do much damage with his Dark Templars, he really didn't do too much damage with the Blink Stalkers as well. This is a perfect opportunity for MaNa to take the advantage. He has firepower. He's going to bring down Stalker after Stalker. He activates the overcharge. And these Dark Templars, they're actually going uncontested at this point in there.
Is there no detection? No, there is. Okay, the detection does come up finally, and he does take care of those Dark Templars. It looks, though, like we might get a Nexus snipe.
Oh, and if he's going to get that, yes, he does get it, but at the same time, the Oracle in the main as well, killing off a lot of probes. The Immortals will end up dying off, and now it gets to the point where all MaNa can do, all Socke can do is try and counterattack. He's lost so much economy.
Well, with his natural gone, at least, those probes can go to the main where he lost basically all of them. 13 kills on this Oracle at the moment. That was pretty rough.
But at the same time, he did lose the majority of his army, right? The probes that surrounded those Immortals, everything did die. So all MaNa has to do at this point is try and actively and aggressively replenish as quickly as he possibly can do with this little counter on the way.
All right, well, the counterattack is coming in, and it's looking pretty strong compared to what he's up against. MaNa is going to fly in once again here with this Oracle, but there are a couple Stalkers left behind.
The fact that they're there, I mean, yes, they will push away the Oracle, but I think he needs everything he can get at the front to really bust down his opponent. Well, at the same time, though, he is pushing up here. That's not really that many units here for MaNa.
And that Archon is actually just so powerful in this situation, killing off these Zealots. And without the Zealots to shield them, the Immortals are going to be worthless.
Back and forth, game one. Blinks forwards, trying to bring down that first Immortal. He's not going to be able to take that out just yet. As the Zealots move into the fray of the mineral line, MaNa knows he's in a lot of trouble, pulls off the probes for the assault. They're actually on hold position here to try and support those Immortals at the back, make sure they don't have the damage done to them, but there's still too many units here for Socke.
It looks like this is just about it, Kaelaris. Everything going down. Yeah, sure, there's a couple Immortals left, a third one on the way, but the probe count down to 7, 1/3 of the probes of his opponent, and the pressure isn't even stopping.
It was looking very good for MaNa, but this was Socke's one opportunity to bring back the game in his favor, if not clinch it, if he can continue to just pile it on, as those 3 Immortals are now out. Yes, they'll do a lot of damage to Socke's, but the Zealots and Archon still in this mix. He blinks forwards, tries to get one of the Immortals, and he does get it. A second one is under threat, as that Archon will pressure on forwards. There's another Archon as well. This is a lot that Socke is putting on.
Well, there are still a couple of Immortals that are trying to get microed as well as they can from MaNa, and he will pick off one of these Archons. Looks like he's going to run back through his probe, see if he can continue to micro here. The thing is, there's still 21 probes for Socke, so even if he kills these, does it matter?
Exactly. That one Archon now, all the probes come off the line to try and deal with that. Those last Zealots, there you go. GG, Socke is able to take game number 1. That was fast and furious.
Yeah, you know what? That was pretty back and forth as well. I do want to say, I think that MaNa made a mistake there by just continuing to try to kill the Nexus when such a big unit surround was coming. He could have skipped that, pulled back, because his Oracle was killing all those probes in the main.
Exactly, yeah, you're 100% right there. And all the attempts that we saw from Socke before that to do some damage to his opponent's economy, do some damage to his opponent's army even, were all completely trumped. So, I mean, MaNa had all the advantages.
Yeah, you know, it's too bad. He did kind of throw that away. I'm sure he's very frustrated with himself at this moment. Yeah. But he's got to stay calm, because if he loses one more game here, that's his second loss in Fight Night, and he's just really not making any money.
No, he is not. And Socke, I'm sure after the previous Fight Night, he's looking for some money. After in the first one,
that was a close one.
Yeah, it really was. If you were unable to tune in for that, he went 2-1 against 1-2 even, I should say, against Nest-T, where we saw a lot of Mutalist play employed. But now it's a whole different kettle of fish. It's PvP. He's one game up. It was shaky though. It was shaky.
You know, it was, but he's playing very solidly here. He actually made a mistake with those Blink Stalkers, which got MaNa to do that attack, but MaNa overcommitting. I don't know. I can't call how this is going anymore. Like I said, I thought Socke would probably win as well, and yeah, he did win that first game, but that could have gone to MaNa. It absolutely could have.
We'll be right back with Fight Night. Welcome back to Fight Night.
Game number 2 is on the way.
Here we go, Kaelaris. Will Socke close it out 2-0, or will MaNa tie it up?
We'll have to see as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, the winner of game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Socke. And up to the top left, as our red Protoss, he is MaNa.
All right, Kaelaris, it is cross spots. This is about as far away as you can possibly get. So it could be a long one, but we have to really reserve judgment a little bit and see what are the opening builds and how much damage is done. Because if you deal damage early on in a PvP, you want to go for a killing blow a little bit later.
Oh yeah, you need to carry on through your advantages. It's not, I mean, there are obviously 3 mirror matchups in this game, if you didn't know. And, you know, in comparison to something like ZVZ, where lava is a huge, huge factor as to how the game flows out, and then from that point on, because lava is a huge factor, drone differences are a massive factor. then PvP, you can recover from some probe deficits, which is nice to see, especially if you've said, well, I'm actually going to go for the expansion a little bit quicker than my opponent. He goes for an Oracle, he kills some off, but you're just chrono boosting those out, and that's the power of chrono boost in this matchup.
That is very, very true indeed. You can really make up for a lot of lost time in various ways, and it's hard for your opponent to figure out which ways you're doing that in and how to punish those. Yeah. So definitely a dynamic matchup, and you know, I gotta say, since Heart of the Storm came out, it's become, I think, my favorite mirror, I have to say, out of all of them. You know, you get to commentate a lot of games, and yeah, I have to say, it's my favorite mirror right now.
I'm torn. I'm torn between this and actually the other two.
Really? They're all kind of equal for you?
Yeah, the reason I say that is because I actually I enjoy casting ZVZ, but playing it is the worst part of my entire life sometimes. And I meet a lot of Zergs on ladder when I'm playing Zerg. There's a lot of them on the European, apparently.
Well, I'm sorry for you for that.
It's okay, it's okay.
ZVZ definitely can be a frustrating one, but
it's tough to control, man. I just don't have the control.
Yeah.
I am Chobo.
That's all right. I forgive you. It's StarCraft, as you said, the hardest game. Well, both players scouting and going to find each other at basically the same times. They're going to find each other basically doing the same things. But what a surprise. Actually getting quite a quick Twilight that may be scouted by MaNa here.
Yeah, certainly could be. As he's just going to head straight on in and pretty much see that down to the very bottom right-hand corner.
He knows everything, whereas back in MaNa's base, he's actually not building his tech yet. He's waiting to actually get his stalker out, get his mothership core out, and chase that probe away.
And once again, we have the Stargate go down for these guys, so I guess my reads at the very beginning of game one were completely on mark.
Pretty accurate, and oh, I love that pylon. He's just trying to see if there's a cancel here, that's all, and
very nice.
Cancel. All right, and now he chooses, will it be Blink? Or will it be DTs? And it's gonna be Blink.
It's a good choice on this map. Yeah. I really do like Blink for the architecture around the natural and main. It really does provide the ability to be so annoying and so aggressive. But at the same time, MaNa here with the Stargate option, he's probably gonna go for an Oracle. Anything else would be a little bit bizarre after seeing what he's already seen.
Yeah, I would imagine if there's no way he'll open Phoenix, but okay, there you go, the Oracle. I was gonna say, with seeing the Twilight there.
Yeah.
If you see the Twilight, I feel like DT tech is like third level mind game. Like most people are not going to do it because there's going to be detection. So that leaves you at Blink. So I was just thinking, I don't know, you could do some sort of weird Void Ray shenanigans.
Could do. Actually, I think Void Rays will come out pretty soon after this, once he realizes exactly what he's up against.
I would be surprised if he made one or two.
Yeah. I mean, in game number one, it worked out fantastically for him, the firepower that he had behind that Void Ray Immortal composition. And it just seems to be something that MaNa's really kind of gunning for recently in PvP.
Well, right now, we actually have some gateways going up, as well as this really fast Nexus to go with Blink. I do like that choice to go ahead and fast expand as well. Whereas MaNa is a little bit behind on that regard.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I mean, the Blink, in general, you see it used as an aggressive tool to be annoying against your opponent, right? So expanding off the back of that, it's not really too easy for your opponent to actually be over there and denying it.
But for a very long time, it's been something that people on big maps do try. And hold on, we do have this Oracle coming in, already getting 3 kills. It's pretty big. 4 kills now, 5 kills for the Oracle, and 6. We will run out of here.
Wow. Got so much damage done despite the 2 Stalkers being there the whole time and still piling on damage to it. So very good play there by MaNa. Will get a slight economical advantage off the back of that once his Nexus finishes up at least. So a little bit of that probe loss will be recuperated here by Socke.
Well, it's as you said, he's got 2 Nexuses and Chrono Boost. So the fact that he lost those 6 probes, if he didn't have an expansion, that's almost game over. Whereas right now, he could recover.
Nice, snipes out one and will get away as well. That the buff to those Oracles, making them super nimble.
Oracle be nimble, Oracle be quick. Oracle killed probes with its candlestick.
Does it have a candlestick? Actually, it's a very nice little,
a couple little flashlights, whatever it is. It works. I don't know. Anyways, the Oracle got another probe, and that's nice.
Good for you, Oracle. Good for you.
Good job, Oracle. You overachiever. All right, so right now we do have Socke going for the Forge. MaNa's expansion finally does come up, and let's look at the probe count. MaNa ahead by 2 probes right now. So even though Socke got that faster expand, MaNa is a little bit ahead.
And up to 3 probes now for a second there, as those numbers will keep piling up here. As has a little look around with the hallucinated Phoenix, sees what's going on. But look, fully enough here for Socke, having that Forge down right now is fantastic. I mean, it's all the way before the Forge has even started from... Oh, there you go, it does start now. Perfect timing for him to try and get that out. But he absolutely needs to keep up in terms of those weapon upgrades.
Yeah, the weapon upgrades in PvP just so important between Colossus, Immortals, and Archons.
Yeah.
It makes a gigantic difference. And if you're behind by even 1 upgrade with a similar army, you will just lose as long as both of you control it at a similar rate. So definitely an important thing. And it does look to me, Kaelaris, that this is going to go pretty long. I can't see either of these players doing significant damage, especially since they got Forges so fast.
I think now, the way this game is going, I want to see like Robo with the Warp Prism come out for Socke, which is something that he does love doing in these kinds of games. But at the same time, blinking forwards, and that's the kind of ridge that I was talking about. But still, Oracle gets more kills, always finding a way.
Yeah, a couple more kills, plus he keeps on forcing Nexus Cannon, so that's a fantastic Oracle. In the meantime, Socke trying to get some damage done here with these Stalkers, and they have such an easy retreat path that he can actually play like this. This is great.
Just sit around, always be a threat, blinks down, tries to poke into the natural a little bit. He threw down the force field on the ramp whilst all of those units were lowered out of position. Denies a little bit of mining time at the natural. Very, very good decisions here.
Yeah, killing a few probes here and there, and he actually catches up in the probe count because of it. That was a very nice play, but I think that harassment has just about outlived its usefulness.
Yeah, I mean, MaNa's probably not going to fall for that twice in a row, as, well, the Oracle is still posing a threat over at that left-hand side, right-hand side, I should say. And again, more probe kills. This photon cannon has even been forced into that location because he hasn't been able to deal with this.
Well, another blink in, and oh my god, the Oracle gets out. It's up to 14 kills now. This Oracle is just, it will not die.
Really good efficiency there with that. And I mean, considering that there was a little bit of a poking around there by Socke at the front of his opponent's base, getting that damage done here for MaNa is crucial and essential for him to tie up this series. He absolutely cannot lose here. Otherwise, he's out once again at Fight Night.
Yeah, that would be a terrible thing, but one of these guys has to be out, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a sad thing, but it is reality. Where there are winners, there are losers as well.
Throws down the Revelation, realizing that he can't really do too much with that energy. May as well use it for now. He's even adding on the Templar Archives to get up to those Archons, and Socke going for Colossi much faster than we're seeing out of MaNa.
Well, you know what? I'm actually a little bit nervous right now for Socke because, yeah, he's going for Colossi, but with the gas banked up and the supply lead that MaNa has, he's going to have a ton of Archons, and he's going to have a very mobile force on a gigantic map.
Well, we saw Socke there positioning himself to try and blink up with those 4 Stalkers to then, you know, have the magic number of volleys onto those little probes, but didn't really do too much with that. And he's going to try and use that now. I mean, as soon as he sees the army in the middle of the map, right, it's perfect time to jump in, but there are units already positioned.
Well, we have the 3rd base going up now for MaNa. And I think that that's actually a very good call considering he does have a higher supply, but look at this. Stalker's not quite doing what they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was looking for from Socke in game number 1, but it just didn't get to that point in the end. It's something he absolutely loves to do, and something a lot of Protoss players in general should be doing, is expanding behind this aggression. And I think that Nexus is very vulnerable. But at the same time, there's 2 Colossi trying to trap a lot of that in, maybe get a few Zealots, and push MaNa all the way home.
It was an interesting try. I'm surprised that he actually went that far in and tried that, considering... Ambitious. I mean, if he's not under attack, it's the same route to each base, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there should have been units there to stop that.
Yeah, there should have been. And now, well, I wonder if he actually sees the 3rd base over there, because he's warping in right next to it, but I don't think it's in range. So he's going to try and poke forwards once again. Those Colossi, they have to be very careful. They're very, very vulnerable right now. Time Warp is so important here. Those Colossi need to get out of danger zone, but there was units on the low ground as well. He has to move out a very, very awkward way. One of them was very low. Second one, almost saves both of them.
I can't even believe he got those out of there, but MaNa very smartly goes in and tags them with the Oracle. The Oracle finally does go down, but MaNa continues to push forward. His army just so much stronger at the moment.
Thermal Lance being a huge factor here for these 3 Colossi, as they're able to stay out of range of those 6 range Immortals. If he didn't have Thermal Lance during all of this would have been lights out, but he can just continue to micro and hold on.
I cannot believe that MaNa is holding on right now, or rather Socke is holding on right now. This is I cannot believe what I just saw, Kaelaris. I thought for sure those Colossi were going to go down. I thought for sure he was about to be broken.
Well, at least MaNa can get the third base cancellation on his way out here, but there are some Zealots for Socke now trying to put on the pressure themselves. He actually didn't even get cancelled, he just gets the kill. Huh.
Wow. Well, I mean, at least he got something out of that because the 3 Colossus are still alive, which is making me a little bit scared for MaNa in the future. Socke may end up having a very nice timing attack.
One Archon does go down to 4 Zealots, and, well, 4 DTs now just going to waltz right on in and start really causing a lot of problems here to MaNa. What is MaNa going to do? I mean, his entire army is pretty much out of the way, and was there the Mothership Core with that? I don't think so, right?
Well, no, the Mothership Core was killed off, but
yeah.
It looks like a bunch of DTs actually going in at the moment. And uh-oh, MaNa looks like he might be in some trouble here. His probes all having to run all over the place. He does have 2 robos trying to produce observers. Where are they? Here one finally does come back, but not before a lot of damage is done.
Yeah, he was frantically chrono boosting out 2 extra observers there to spot all of this, but in the end, the damage got dealt, and now he's trying to harass this third base, which is just, it's not fully got off, and he's actually going to just go for the Nexus, and I think he's going to get this. His army is completely out of position.
You're completely right. That Nexus will be falling down. Hopefully he can save those 2 DTs. They are very expensive. Looks like one will go down while it tries to snipe High Templar, but I think the other one will get away.
As I say, man, Socke with these mid-game decisions, once he gets rolling, is hard to stop as MaNa here, he's under a lot of pressure. How can he now bring this back? He has to do some damage to his opponent's third base and stop that from continuing on.
Well, to be fair, he does technically have a bigger army at the moment, but we have a lot more Colossus for Socke, so that bigger army count doesn't always mean as much as it looks like it does.
Yeah.
With these 4 Colossus, the fact that he saved those 3 Colossus, like, this game would be over if he hadn't, but
exactly.
With them out, I feel like he's winning.
Yeah, they just provide too much firepower when it comes to these engagements, and I'm curious as to whether or not MaNa has actually got his Mothership Core out again, because Time Warp against Colossi-based plays, when you're behind in terms of Colossus, is so important, and he'd now just start.
Yeah, Time Warp is actually the most important thing against Colossus, if you ask me. If you Time Warp the Colossus, they just can't kite back, which is how you keep them alive in these confrontations when there's Immortals involved.
Well, looks like Socke now here is going to apply a little bit of pressure at this third base, but realistically, I'm not quite sure how much he can do. That's still a strong army that we have out for MaNa.
Very nice Time Warp, though, making it very hard to actually attack in. And the 2 Colossi trying to target down the 4 of Socke, but his Colossi being worth so much. The thing is, MaNa has a lot more units.
Reinforcing over at the right-hand side here with some more Zealots as well. Those 4 Colossi need to stay alive. 2 Immortals did move forward here for Socke to provide that sustaining firepower and support firepower that he needs to constantly push this away. The Zealots messing with a little bit of that control that we're seeing here from the Colossi in terms of where they're using their damage, but now these 4 Colossi, they just are not dying. They're eventually going to go down, but at the same time, 2 of MaNa's.
Oh my god, they're all so deep in the red, but he keeps them alive, and that's what matters, because these are the longest range units out right now, and they're going to be very hard to kill. Look at this. I love that he's just running away.
Yeah, just waltzing on home, or why on earth not?
A Mothership Core is chasing them down, and they're so low it could kill him, so he's getting out of there. Yeah. And that's going to leave him with a mining third base, 3 additional Colossus, and once he reinforces, I don't know that his army can really be stopped. Socke is looking fantastic.
I mean, the one thing that's gonna keep MaNa in this is the fact that he has 2 robos churning out those Colossi, so he will ramp up those numbers pretty quickly, but he still needs to get more probes over to that third base, needs the gas mining in from that. He's transferring over there as quickly as possible. It's super important that he keeps that gas coming in this very highly gas-intensive matchup.
Very true indeed, Kaelaris. You know, I'm looking at this situation that's going on in this game, and with that higher Colossus count, the only thing I can think is MaNa needs a Warp Prism, and he needs to get fancy with it. He needs to do some harassment, because in a straight-up confrontation, I don't see Socke losing right now. So if he could maybe do a little bit of harassment, then Socke might have to stay home and defend, but instead he's moving forward while he has that advantage.
And he has +3 over +2, does
Socke.
God. So that's a big deal when it comes to Archons and Colossi that are just going to shred through and scythe down all of those Zealots instantaneously. This is a little bit tricky here for MaNa.
Well, it looks like it's 4 Colossus to 3 right now. Now, these are 3 very red Colossus, so he has to be very careful how he micros them. He has to also make sure they're not clumped when he attacks. But he does have a time warp against no time warp at the moment, so that can help a lot as well.
Socke up in terms of army supply, trying to gauge exactly how much his opponent has right now, but can't quite get the full vision on that army as the 4 Colossi straight up here. They are very, very vulnerable. He has to be careful about how he positions those.
They're so low on health, and loses one already. Now we do have 4 for his opponent here, MaNa. But he has a lot of Archons coming in from the side. 2
of those Colossi in the back were focusing down a pylon. He lost a little bit of damage to that, so the 4 Colossi of MaNa's were doing more than his opponents, but it still doesn't matter, as Socke's army with these Archons is still a little bit too strong. They're going to get right under those Colossi. Will it get it? Yes, it gets one of them.
So many hurt Colossi right now. He could actually turn around that Mothership core and start killing some off. In the meantime, we do have more Zealots warping in over here at the 3rd base, trying to take out MaNa's economy.
With these reinforcements, Socke is pretty much safe, a lot safer here. At that point up at the natural, it was like 3 hurt Colossus against 3 hurt Colossus. I was like, wait a minute, is this really going to happen? Are they actually going to fight? But no, they actually retreats back, gets the 3rd base again, and Socke just keeps taking those incremental leads in this game.
Well, now I would say it's gone past incremental. It's gone to the realm of very hard to come back from for MaNa. He's down a whole base. Socke somehow has Colossi that never die. I thought that they were called Colossi, not Immortals. I'm getting confused.
No, man.
But he just micros them back so well. And he just continues to reinforce. He knows that he's ahead at this point, and by 26 supply, geez, he's never going to lose a battle, is he?
No, certainly not. And that pylon that's just been on the doorstep of MaNa has been warping in for the longest time. It's not been dealt with. So as MaNa reinforces, we see Socke reinforce right next to him. So warping in a few Zealots down to the bottom left as well there, just to have a look around, to make sure that nothing's going on. He's like, why are you stealing my game? Get out of my game.
Well, you know, that is a smart thing to do on such a big map. MaNa could do something like try to hide a Nexus, but as of right now, there is no hidden Nexus. There is no 3rd base. He's going to try to take another one up to the north, but Socke knows about it immediately with those Zealots.
Very, very good positioning just to scout that out and really continue to strangle everything that we see here from MaNa. There's no reason to give him any breathing room. Once again, it's that tap out style. We don't want to, he's not going to go for any big crushing blows unless he's absolutely confident. And as these army supplies get further and further, I mean, now he can quite easily take it.
Look at that, all those Colossi, all those Archons, some great micro here from Socke, as you see, not letting the Zealots run up to their death. He's taking some additional hits here, and 2 of the Colossi suddenly fall.
Very, very nicely done there by MaNa. If he wants to keep himself in it, that's exactly how he has to. And it's now 5 Colossi against 3, as Socke, unfortunately for him, he can't warp in Colossi, so he has to walk over the other side of the map.
I know, that's a problem. I wish they would fix that, warping Colossi. It'd be a lot easier for Protoss, but
certainly would.
Unfortunately, it's not the case. And he's going to have to rally them all the way from home.
Yeah, well, 2 more Colossi on the way here for MaNa. Only 1 still at any given point in time for Socke, as he still only has that 1 robo. But look at this, MaNa is so constricted. He doesn't have his 3rd base up and running, whereas Socke, he's even taken his 4th base behind this, playing so safely and making sure that his opponent has no room.
Well, Socke is continuing to move forward now, trying to hit in. He wants to deny this 3rd again. I don't think he needs to deny the 3rd that badly, to be honest. Oh my God! Oh, what was that snipe? I did not see that one coming in, either did MaNa.
He certainly didn't. They were invisible, man. I mean, there's no real way to be able to spot it for a second.
I guess you're right about that. Some more DTs being warped in and moved around the bottom part near that 3rd base. Socke, though, he has 4 bases right now, whereas MaNa is really struggling to get 3 up. MaNa right now is down by almost 60 supply as well. Kaelaris, how does he come back?
Well, with the surrounds that we're seeing set up from Socke, I don't think there is much opportunity, although the army did move up to this high ground, so he's found himself a bit more of a defendable position for now as he goes to work on the 3rd base once again. And we'll have to back up.
Well, here we go. We are going to have some sort of flank in here, and Colossi do hate that, and it looks like Socke's decided that he cannot be stopped now, and I tend to agree with him. This army is just gigantic.
Yeah, so many Archons, so many Zealots and Colossi barreling down on this. GG, well played, and Socke takes the series 2-0. A fantastic PvP series by the German Protoss.
That's right, great player indeed. MaNa staying ever manner, going over, shaking his hand despite losing out on Fight Night once again. Socke, though, on the road to redemption. But MaNa, unfortunately, he's out.
Yeah.
And, well, let's see what he thinks about that series he just played. Frodan, take it away.
So MaNa, you did drop to Socke once again. You did have some really good stuff going for you. You had some really cool micro tricks. What do you think went wrong in the series?
Well, I think I was just too tired. I mean, it's not an excuse for me, but I was playing very, very badly. I'm very disappointed in my play. I had a lot of situations when I was very ahead, and I'm pretty sure Socke would agree. But then he played very well. Probably without like crucial mistakes, and yeah, he was just better in this series, so congratulations to him.
Is there any moment that sticks out in your mind in particular?
The moment when I lost a lot of probes to GTs in map 2, and the moment when I just A-moved to the Nexus in map 1, that was just so stupid.
It's all right, we all make those mistakes, and even humans, even people like you, MaNa, can make mistakes as well. But thank you so much for joining us, and good luck next time.
Thanks.
So there you have it, Socke takes the first series of this round for StarCraft 2 Fight Night at ESGN TV. Tune in next time to find out, can he repeat the feat again? But more importantly, is he the real deal? See you next time.
Next week on Fight Night.